What's up, y'all? Sorry about that, y'all. I was on mute. Sorry about that. Um, this was a this was a terrible job by the committee. Now, I'm happy about some things. I don't know if y'all heard me, but uh, I'm happy about some things, but there were some things that I wasn't. Now, the first four seeds, I don't think there was any surprise. Indiana's at that number one seed. Ohio's State is at the number two seed. Number three is Georgia, and number four is Texas Tech. Now, uh, James Madison is going to play uh, Oregon. Okay, um, they got in Alabama. They got in. Get they the committee. Bama paid them to be in there because there's no way that Bama should have got in. But I'll get to that in just a second. Oklahoma, I don't think they should have been in there. Now Tulane, I had the questions about that. Ole Miss, I felt that like they did enough to get in there. The one that I was kind of pleased with Miami getting in. Miami did enough. They took some tough losses, uh, but they were able to bounce back and be good throughout the stretch of the rest of the season. And then A&M had got in too. Now, a lot of people were kind of up in the air about Duke. You say I disagree on this. Yeah, I do too. I do too, man. I really am disappointed in the committee. Yeah, like but this is terrible. Now, James Madison is going to play Oregon, um, and the winner will face Indiana. I got Indiana winning the whole thing. I'm just gonna make my prediction outright. I want Miami to win the whole thing, but I got Indiana winning the whole thing. Uh, but Bama and Oklahoma they play Ohio State, which Alabama had no business being in there. You know they got three losses. I'm about to chat on my end in 30 minutes. Okay, that's cool. Um, then Tulane and Ole Miss, the winner out of them they face Georgia, and then Miami and A&M they face Texas Tech. Um, and I think a lot of people would want to see A&M face Texas Tech. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see Miami. I want to see Miami go as far as they could go. But I mean, this is crazy, man. The committee, man, and I felt like Vanderbilt should have been in there. Notre Dame didn't get in. I'm not shocked by Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. You said I've been to James Madison games. They like a Gonzaga basketball can give big schools a tough game. Yeah, they probably can. But I don't know. I don't necessarily see. I don't see them beating Oregon. But either one is they're gonna lose to Indiana. Man, Indiana is a good team. Stephen, Indiana been blowing teams out. They put up 70 points in the game. They put up like 50 50 points in like two or three games, if I'm not mistaken. They've been out, blowing teams out, and then of course they capitalized and put the icing on the cake with that win they had yesterday with Ohio State. Oregon are quick but undersized. Yep, but like I said, I don't see either one beating Indiana. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm disappointed in the committee, man, and the selection committee. I really don't. To be honest with you, I think it should not be. I was talking to Cypress about this. Shout out to Cypress, man. I was talking about to him about this. I don't think they should do 12 teams. I think it should be. I think it should be way more teams than this. You know what I'm saying? Because you could get any any team can have its day. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that I look at it. Nobody expected that. Well, I did. I expected Ohio State to lose, but no, a lot of you that are casuals, y'all expected Ohio State to just go ahead and win. You said, Apollo, I got Oregon versus Miami. What for the championship? You talking about for the championship? I don't know, man. Like I would love to see that, but I don't think that's happening. I would love to see that. Nah, I don't shit. Nah, because Oregon's not. I don't think Oregon's gonna beat Indiana. Right now, Indiana, man, Indiana's on a whole nother level, and they're trying to change the culture over there. In terms of football, Indiana's known for a basketball school. You know, but this is crazy. But yeah, Bama got in. The brother Cypress up in there jumping up and down, happy, excited. You know what I'm saying? Everybody screaming "Roll Tide!" But I'm gonna say this though, Steven and Brown Sugar. I'm gonna say this: the reason I think the reason why they put Bama in there, was because they still generate ratings. They generate ratings, but to me, that's a messed up. It's kind of a messed up process. You know what I'm saying? But they generate ratings. Not for the fact that a lot of people want to necessarily see Bama win, but a lot of people root against. You got just as many people rooting against Alabama as you do for Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Uh, am I an Alabama fan? No, but and then if we got to talk about these other teams too, there could be some upsets. Like Ole Miss, I'm not going to sleep on Ole Miss. I'm not going to sleep on Ole Miss. Um, if they happen to play Georgia, if Tulane happens to do the unthinkable, win and play against Georgia, I'm definitely not going to sleep on Georgia if they win. Um, Ohio State, Ohio State never plays good in big games. You saw that yesterday. You said they should have all conference winners, even the MAC Sunbelt and Pac-12 with big conference 20 playoff teams. I could dig that. Yeah, I I I kind of agree with that. Because it gives more people opportunity. See, you got so many good teams out. What if you did let Vanderbilt in there? You know what I'm saying? Or let's say you did, let Notre Dame in or Duke. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these other teams that you look at their record and you figure, well, no, they couldn't have possibly paid anybody, but Vanderbilt actually had some good wins. You know what I'm saying? Salute, D Nice. You said Michigan game. What about a Michigan game? What about a Michigan game? But salute to you. But yeah, like I said, man, this is I don't know, but I'm happy Miami got in. That's one thing I will say. I'm happy the Hurricanes got in. Uh, the Hurricanes have an opportunity to make up for it. I, I I'll say this. I like that Miami got in for the simple fact that they could do the unthinkable. You said OSU beat Michigan. Uh, That's a big game every year. Yeah, but they lost though. They lost. They and I know that I understand what you're saying, D Nice. You know that's the Big Ten rivalry of all. But the thing about it is, I'm talking about in the national. You've seen Ohio State fold in some games. Now, when they, of course, when they had Meyer, way back when, you know, it would sometimes, of course, more often than none, they would win, but then there would be some losses. They'd be like, damn, they got up on the national stage and they ended up losing. And that's how you never know what you're gonna get with Ohio State. Like last night, I know they only lost by three, but they still lost, and they lost in prime time in front of the whole world. But I mean, I feel where you're coming from in terms of the Big Ten rivalry. Yeah, they won that game, but we're looking at the bowl. We're looking at the national championship. That's what we're looking at. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're looking at. But I wish it would be more. I wish it would be more. Uh, you said this is the problem. High school kids want two big conferences that have an easy chance for a CFP like the MAC, Sunbelt, Pac-12. Left out Notre Dame need to. You said Notre Dame need to join the conference. Well, Notre Dame, you know they had switched conferences. I felt like that was like Notre Dame switching conferences. To me, that was a bit. They should have just left Notre Dame where they were. You know what I'm saying? Now, A&M. There was a time, Stephen, uh, D Nice, Brown Sugar, everybody up in here. There was a time when I felt like these teams should have been in the SEC. At one time I felt like Texas A&M had no business being in, but when Baylor was at its like in terms of doing good things in football, I felt like they should have got in. And a few years back, TCU should have been in the SEC. You know what I'm saying with what they were doing because I look and D Nice, Steven, Brown Sugar. Believe it or not, I like the Big Ten. Listen, I like the Big Ten. I like the Big 12 and the Big Ten more so than I like the than the SEC. And let me tell you why I like the Big 12 because of course my squad was in there. Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? That's my all time college team. If y'all don't know, I fucks with Nebraska. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't really Frazier and Eric Crouch days and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. A Big Ten, Big 12 guy. You know what I'm saying? But SEC, that's where everybody is trying to get to. SEC is large enough to become its own entity. And what I mean by that, they're large enough to become, you said SMU beat Miami. SMU should got a shot at Duke, ACC champ, playoff chance. NCAA dropped the ball. Yeah, they did. And matter of fact, I know some people. I know some people. Uh, some personal friends of the family that went to SMU. Their family went to SMU. Their sons play for SMU. Old Head Podcast. See you in the building. Make sure you go sub to T Price in the building, man. Salute to you. But yeah, man, this was a robbery of the highest order. However, I am happy about the U, man. I'm so happy about the U. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's over for Miami." You know what I'm saying? Had Cybers up in here talking about, oh no, man, Miami ain't going nowhere and all this other stuff. Now he gives them a shot. They got in, man. Shout out to Miami. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the U for being able to get in, man. You know what I'm saying? You said uh glad to be home back in the dirty south. Just got home from church. That boy went to church. That boy went to church. Praise the Lord. How you doing? May God bless you. He'd be like, Brother Price, please do not steal out the collection plate. We know it was you last week. Okay. Oh man. We're gonna be together when y'all tie that knot. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand. But anyway, yeah, man. This was this was a crazy, this was crazy work. But like I said, man, a lot of people felt like Bama shouldn't have got in. I felt like Vanderbilt should have been in there in place of Bama. Um, Hell, Duke. Now I know Duke was ranked like 17, but who would have thought that they was going to knock them off last night? But and they won. They won the conference. You know what I'm saying? They won the conference championship. I feel like that should automatically get you in there. You know what I'm saying? That should automatically get you in there. That's what people. That's what people were looking at right there. The fact that Bama had got knocked off in the championship game, and Duke had won it, and they beat uh what's it called? They they weren't supposed to win. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even supposed to be in there. Wait a minute, hold on one second.